YouTube, welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly every single week by watching as long as you can. That greatly supports these events, even if you have us on in the background. We're going to start this off with Taro on triple freaking D at the top. Ain't no way. This is going to be crazy. And this card counters Liger Dancer. We are ready for the Lunalight matchup. There is at least one Lunalight in the top cut. Lunalight just won the $1,000 MCS tournament. In addition to that, we really want to be looking out for the Arc Crisis, the ultimate game ender. Look at him grabbing you. Oh my Jesus. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Begin. Max C in the draw phase. We're going to cross out Designate, negate the Max C. Not today. Now, the Holly Sue can't even summon. Pendulum Summon. Griffin will discard a card to draw into a not-so-good Fool Loss, obviously. If we get this card in the graveyard, it will become the ability to search for the Eternal Darkness. Now, since you already had Eternal Darkness, instead of getting this card in the graveyard to search for it, you just hard summon Machine X with 3 materials. So we're now able to suck up multiple freaking times, at least 3 sucks. 3 sucks, negate a hand trap, negate a spell and trap, negate a special summon, negate a special summon, and then the Eternal Darkness. What's so good about this is while you have 2 DD cards in your Pendulum Zones, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with spell and trap cards, nor can you tribute them for Tribute Tome. We don't care about that, but the biggest part of this being a floodgate is the opponent cannot use their own field for Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz. We can still Link Summon. Now, what's this going to be good against? Against K9. K9 can't make Ripper. Let's freaking go. Case for K9. Searching for Noroi. What could Noroi go into? What could Jokel go into? We can't Ripper. And we're just going to wave King Caesar negate. Negate a special summon and destroy. The Ragnarok negates and doesn't destroy. Goodbye to Jokel. We're going to... that's it. Now, why did he not summon Noroi? In the TCG, I really think he could have normal summoned Noroi, but in Master Duel, the opponent has to have 2 or more cards in their hand. He's negating the burn. And then Siegfried will just negate this trap. Or Caesar can negate the trap. It's over, finish it. Pop your own card to trigger the Queen in the extra deck to non-target pop a card in the field. Lethal damage. Holly Sue, super brick. No Vanquish Shoulder reveal. Damn. Nuts. Didn't even have to flip up the Eternal Soul. Case for K9, add the Jokel, draw on Lockbird. Jokel will special summon, but now the Ripper can't set the quick play K9. We're going into Nash Knight instead. Nash Knight's going to be setting up for the monster negate. In response to a monster activating on field, negate, and discard a card from their hand and half their life points. Oh boy, wow. Droll hit him hard. Super Droll. We could set the case for K9, the quick play one, but we don't have anything to use it with, so it's no good. But the Lupus is reborning. Now, the Lupus, what can it do? It can go into a Typhon, or as Billy Break says, Typhon. We don't play Typhon here, so it does nothing. What the heck is that? We have Bell, we have Ash, we have Umbral Horror to negate a monster on field. Let's go. And it's flipped. Nope, Ash negate. That's the big downside of Eclipse, straight up. It is stoppable by Ash, but otherwise, it is the best card to use. Now, how do we play around a monster negate and discard? Does not negate. What are we saving the negate for? He could be trying to save it for the Link 2. Gilgamesh. Orthros is going to pop the Forced Release, which wasn't really doing anything anyway. As we are now going to pop the Orthros, summon a Coper. When do you want to use this? It's straight up, it's just Link 2. We're doing it for Link 2. Solomon, activate a search. He refuses. Taro's trying to bait him. Now, guess what? When should I use this? Gilgamesh. Okay, but you can't if they chain link block it. So you saved it for the correct card, but Taro's now chain link blocking the correct card. You cannot negate Gilgamesh, which you saved this for. So it was wrong to save it for the correct card. Does that make sense? Block it. Got him. Outplayed. Straight up. Outplayed. This can only negate on fields. So fully chain link blocked. Let's further go into a Ragnarok. Ragnarok can negate the Ghost Bell. Ragnarok poppin'. Bro, what are you coping on with this card now? What are you gonna negate? Bell negate. Ragnarok negate the Bell. Umbral Horror doesn't even have a card to discard from the hand anymore. And we may as well protect our Bell. That's it. Now, the Umbral Horror, while it doesn't get rid of a card from the hand, it at least gets rid of the Ragnarok, right? No. Ragnarok's gonna stay. We're not even gonna discard. Do you even half their life points if you don't discard a card from the hand? You negate the activation. Then, if the activation was negated, you could send a random card. Only if you sent a card could you then half their life points, so we're not even halving their life. This is a crappy negate. No discard, no life point halved. The monster stays on the field. Damn. Necro Slime is what you want to use Bell on, not the bait. So Taro chain link blocks the Umbral Horror, outplayed that completely, baited you with Lance, so you used Bell on this when Lance was not the play to negate. You wanted to negate the best effect in the whole Double D deck, the #1 effect. The most high value effect is Necro Slime. But if you save a hand trap for it, they'll Ragnarok negate. If you save Impulse for it, they could possibly summon Siegfried beforehand, and Siegfried can negate. So it doesn't mean save your hand traps for it, because then they could play around you saving your hand traps for it. Because this slime, it does too much. Siegfried is here. Go forth. Let's Reborn from Engrave. We got the Clovis. The Arc Crisis is coming. Totally do not surrender. You are not allowed to surrender. Arc Crisis is coming. Flame on for the Arc Crisis King. Can attack every single monster on the field, can negate the entire freaking field, can deal damage equal to the monster destroyed by battle, and it has piercing battle damage. Attack, attack, burn on the attack, burn on the attack. Piercing damage, 3,800 damage, burn for 23, attack again, and then burn again. Oh my Jesus. Begin. Fool lost in the opponent's standby phase. Sure. As we key to Dracotail, I've actually seen a lot of top-rated players saying that they're not liking Fool loss in their Vanquish Soul Canine deck. It's not one of the attributes used to reveal with Holly Sue, and it also is enabling a simple Azuna play. Azuna into Ripper, you draw one with the Fool loss, but then they have a Ripper with a Force Release, which they can negate a hand trap, they could then banish a card from your hand, they could non-target pop a card in the field, and all for what? You drew one card off of it. It was 1-for-1 with the Fool loss. Now, we have our Thalion adding back from in graveyard. How many cards? Come back to us, Femina, and come back to us, Malulu, as we got the triple trap. If you hate Maxi, if you hate Fool loss, Dracotail is the deck to play. It's the most simple deck to play right through it. They only get one card. We can now return a monster back, negate a spell, banish from the grave. We could fusion summon, we could negate a monster, we could Ash negate interaction in the deck, we could Magnum Hut banish from the graveyard, which actually is not going to be a disruption against Crystron, I'd say. So 6 disruptions. Let's go. This hand's awful, says Yu-Gi-Oh! Thor, the Crystron expert. We have Tristaros. By first getting a Tristaros out early, it puts the opponent in an awkward spot because if they activate any card whatsoever, we could chain to their activation to summon from the deck, then perform a synchro. We have Sulfador. On summons, going to send 2 Crystron cards from the deck to the graveyard. We're going to Sting, banish the Inclusion, and Sulfaneer right away. Now, the Inclusion has the effect to, while in the graveyard, it's a cost to banish this card, but it targets a Crystron engraved, so we could have waited with the Sting in response to the Inclusion to banish whatever it's targeting, And let's read the Sulfaneer. If this card's in the graveyard, you could discard a Crystron, special summon this card in defense, then destroy one card you control. So this is also something else. We could have just waited for the activation unless we really cared about them getting a card from the hand in graveyard. Maybe we are fearing that they are getting a Smyger engraved that they could then banish later. Maxi, oh, really? What? Okay, damn. Start off with a normal summon Tristaros to ensure that we could respond to any of their hand traps as they want to negate the chaotic element search in the deck. Thus, Tristaros can now chain to the Ash to summon from the deck, which we then get hit by a food loss. The Droll effect being applied is great. I mean, look at this. Applied, applied, applied. It applied. It stopped 4 draws. That was a big play. Damn. Now, we do have the ability to negate a spell and trap card. We can negate anything with the Infinity. We can pop multiple cards with the Cluster. About triple disruption. Begin. Now, does Infinity and Dragster both negate the activation? I believe they both do. This is able to negate the activation. Thus, if you negate a Key 2 or a Rahu, they could activate another copy if they have one. Rahu, even though another copy would be activatable, we are going to negate the Rahu. Now, what's great about the Cluster is Cluster could pop the Albaz and it will stop the fusion summon. We're going to grab a Femina as we fuse into Arthalion. Arthalion on summon is going to be returning back and engrave the Ash Blossom, come back to me. Femina and Urgula will be triggering. Now, we're going to be forced into activating the Cluster early, otherwise it's going to get destroyed. So let's just do it. It's not an ideal Cluster, it's just we have to use it. Return back our Sulfador, pop the Arthalion, which is not that beneficial. The Rahu already activated this turn, but the activation was negated, so setting this is perfect. These activation negates against Dracotail are just really not so good. So the more relevant Dracotail is, I think the worse off our end field will be. All these Omni negates, which are great against everything else, it's going to be quite crap against Dracotail. Arthalion Reborn. Pan is triggering to pop a monster. We're just getting clapped up. Our triple disruption was pretty much nothing. Now, to be fair, the Dragster did get negated by impermanence, but Infinity was trash. The Cluster was trash. We had to use it early because it was getting popped by the Urgula. That's nuts. I'll add back the Femina. Normal the Albaz after using up all their disruption. Fuse away with the Dragster into our Mirror Jade. Crystron is getting squished. Yup, big time. And that's 8,800 damage, mate. Finish him. Too much gas? Too much. It's quite sad that Dracotail's no longer obtainable. I feel like they should have extended the Dracotail pack because a lot of people, to get the full picture, they had to wait to see how the deck would be with Vanquisol, Canine, Yummy, and Dracotail existing at the same time. Now, the problem is Dracotail compared to Yummy and Vanquisol, they're the only deck that could get hit by the next ban list. And should they? Now, they had the full month of December to be the best deck, uncontested, without Yummy and Vanquisol Canine. And then Yummy came out, and then it got to have a second month where, again, it was the best deck because it could beat Yummy. It had a great matchup against it. And only after 3 months since its release is it now contesting with Vanquisol Canine, which is happening to be better than Dracotail. But then now that there's a deck better than Dracotail, Dracotail may get hit by the ban list, further making it even worse. What the heck? Floodgates. How do we turn on this floodgate? This floodgate turns on how? What this will do as a pendulum is you cannot pendulum, we don't care. Each player applies one of these effects based on the number of set cards in their back row. If you have 0 set cards, all monsters you control cannot attack or activate their effects. So what happens is when they set a back row, you're going to trigger the Urgula to pop that back row card, and then maybe they're going to have no other cards to even use. Now, this has another effect. If either player sets a spell and trap card on your field while this card's in the graveyard, you could place this in the Pendulum Zone. So you dump it in the grave, and then you play it on field, and then you floodgate your opponent. Let's freaking go. But that actually wasn't the case. Now, this could be turned on during the opponent's turn, which is quite insane. We set a spell and trap from our deck during the opponent's turn, which then plays this into the Pendulum Zone, which then starts floodgating from there on out. What the heck? Let's go. Fractal. Dump from the deck. Silverhound trigger, summon from the deck. Gold Leo unsummon, searching for our Martin. We have the Martin triggering, Chainlink blocking with the Gold Leo. Albion Sanctifier is going to grab the Martin out of the graveyard plus our Albaz to fuse with their opposing fields. Did not impulse the Sanctifier. He may impulse the Albaz. Because I know a lot of people are thinking, you should impulse the Femina instead. Are we going to eat up the impulse here? Or are we just droplet it? Using the droplet, saving the impulse. Let's freaking go. We're now protected from the Urgula triggering the Pendulum from putting itself into the back row. Activate, impulse mate, GG no re. That's a scoop if I've ever seen one. Negate. All right, now what? Lunalight fusion right away into our Liger Dancer, which could Raigeki the fields. Just like that. Wipe the fields. Our Thalion Reborn back. Who cares? Oh, well, I mean, we actually do care. We did have lethal damage because of the Anaconda, protecting us from lethal. But how are we going to out this? So I said Titanclad earlier. Yeah, but they normally play only one Albaz. And if we have our one Albaz in the graveyard, we're not going to even be able to use our Branded Fusion to go into the Titanclad to attack over the Liger. 1-0. Let's go. Let's go. Ending the turn? What? If we play the Performer Pal, then Full Loss would not be activatable. Gold Leo, come to me, discard away the evenly match. Fractal, send from the deck. Silverhound, send from the deck. Let's hit him with a Full Loss, not Ash Blossom. Black Sheep, grabbing our Polymerization. Gold Leo, return back the Black Sheep. Is the rock coming? We'll see. Polymerize into our Perfume Dancer. Search our deck for the Perfume, which could reborn a body, which would be the 4th summon. We are quickly getting Nibiru. Polymerize right away before Nibiru is activatable on our 4th summon being the Liger Dancer. Now we're going to use the Perfume to reborn our Chick. Chick is going to send from the deck the Martin. We're going to Nibiru the Chick, and the Maxi's a draw too. Come to me, don't mind if I do. Pot agreed it up. Liger, of course, is safe. Mind you, Terramare just got back after winning a $1,000 tournament with Lunalight, the MCS. Magnum Hut attempting to banish away the Leo Dancer in the opposing graveyard in response to the Lunalight Wolf activating a fusion summon. Liger Dancer is going to chain send another copy of Leo Dancer by destroying the special summon Nibiru. So we successfully denied them from going into Liger, but then they sent another card for the Liger, thus it was unsuccessful. Kaleido Chick is going to make it so you can't activate anything in the battle phase. This is turn 2, even though it looks like a turn 1. To battle we go, triple attack. 2 more attacks for game. Finish him. Damn. Now, what I'm really interested in, Terramare just won the $1,000 MCS and quickly joining a new event. Did he make any deck changes? Did his extra deck change? Did his main deck change? For the MCS, he got to play with the side deck. With no side deck, maybe some of those side deck cards are now in the main. Is he still on Fancy Ball? Is this playing into a draw? It's only activatable at the start of your main phase. Like, you either activate this or you're not going to use it for the rest of the turn. So I guess the question is, if you have Habakiri, do you not want to be using this? Do you just pretend like this is a brick and don't use it and then just go into Habakiri? Let's add the Cupsy. Let's droll them. Cupsy can't search. Habakiri can't search off of the Saji. Normal Parelia into the Almirage. They have no other hand traps in sight. As you go into a Snatchy. Snatchy play the field spell Minion. Minion reborn the Cupsy from Engrave. Let's further synchro into a Lollipo. Lollipo reborn 2 bodies from Engrave. Special the Lollipo. Let's go into the Sorrow Cat. Sorrow Cat is now going to go into a Herald of Arc Light. Herald of Arc Light should hard counter Dracotail, but only when protected by a Sprite Elf, which we don't have. So because it's not targetable, all they have to do is now summon an Arthalion. Arthalion will target the Herald of Arc Light. Whatever you fuse into to make this will be banished instead of being sent to the grave. Lu or Cartesia. Cartesia is here. Simply big enough to attack over Herald. What the heck? That was horrible for our Herald of Arc Light. Now we're going into an Arthalion, which is not going to be having to deal with the nasty Herald of Arc Light, ensuring that our cards are being banished, so we're getting the full triggers. We're going to non-target negate the Little Knight, so it has to activate right now. We're going to lose the field spell. We're getting completely clapped up. Now, this is what was happening before the release of Vanquisol K9. Vanquisol K9 should be defeating Dracotail. Let's speed this up. I guess we got clapped up by Droll, yeah. So this is the thing, though. This is, you have to ask yourself, when you're playing Mitsurugi with your Yummy instead of pure Yummy, you do get the benefit of Murakumo board wiping against Vanquisol K9. You do get the benefit of Murakumo wiping out the matchup against Yummy, but then you added a part of your deck is now worse to a Silver Bullet. Part of a good deck, the category of a good deck, is Silver Bullet Resilience. Is there a single card that hard counters your deck? For Dracotail, it would be something like the Herald of Arc Light if it's protected from battle and also untargetable. And Mitsurugi is going to be a Droll and Lockbird. As you saw, instead of Habakiri being another form of a hand trap or some other non-engine good card, it instead was a brick. We have Sting banishing away the Herald of Arc Light, stopping it from being returned back in the action deck through the effect of the Sorrow Cat. Little Knight, chain banishing. Horn is now going to banish the Little Knight. There's an aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! That I would like to call pinning down. You always want to think about, can I pin something down? So we do like to think about making trades with certain cards, but instead of making a trade, you could pin down. So what does Little Knight do? Little Knight pins down Horn if you just never activate it. Little Knight also pins down a card like Snatchy. So let's say the opposing player is a Snatchy. Instead of thinking, how do I get them to synchro? How do I think about pinning it down instead? How do you pin down a Femina? Make a Ripper and don't activate Ripper. Just chill. Don't negate anything else because it's pinning down Femina. Little Knight, pin down Snatchy. Little Knight, pin down the Horn. Always think about, can I pin them down? What's another way to pin down an Azuna? Well, if I have a Holly Sue. If I have Holly Sue and I think they have Azuna and I want to summon from the deck, what do? Well, I don't summon from the deck. I have to hold the effect to steal their Azuna or their play with the Lupus. So what's the correct play? Well, Azuna is only activatable in the main phase. So let me instead possibly set up a field spell and then activate my Holly Sue in the end phase. Because in the end phase, if I activate Holly Sue to summon from the deck, they can't chain Azuna. But if they summon Azuna early, I'll take control of their Azuna, then they can't make their rank 5 Xyz play. So, you know, it's things like that where you want to think about pinning down their plays that are in the back row, on the field, or in the hand. But, you know, we didn't do that with Little Knight. Little Knight getting bounced away by the Horn. Sorrow Cat returning back nothing. What are we doing here? We're making way for the Mitsurugi plays. Imperm onto Cartesia, Arthalion, come forth. Negates, add back from the grave. We have the Femina. Femina has not yet activated this turn. Oh boy. The Flame. Will negates. Mitsurugi Prayers. Let's tribute off the Habakiri, search for a monster, summon a monster, and then trigger the Habakiri to further search for another play. We're going to reborn the Saji from Engrave. Now, the Ritual being Engrave and us playing a Yummy variant means we probably don't play another copy of Mitsurugi Ritual. We would be reliant on a Kusanagi adding it back. We got hit by a Droll and Lockbird again. Freaking Droll mate. Damn. Now, yeah, that was quite unfortunate. Back-to-back Droll. Let's hop into game number 2. Habakiri into Fua. So I think this is pretty good confirmation that we're not going to get Droll and Lockbirded, possibly. Has another freaking Fua. And has a Max C. Damn. And then we're going to Ash negate the search for Mitsurugi Ritual. So we get the Saji. They draw 2 cards. And I guess it'd be dependent on how good our hand is when we would decide if we want to negate. Now, Malulu and Ash is a play. We could Ash this. We are Ashin. Let's go. Mignon's a brick. Murakumo's a brick. Habakiri already did what it could do. We just have Ogre. Is it Ogre? Freaking top decked into a Kidu. No way. Come to us, Femina. Is Ogre good against Dracotail? Well, this is actually good if they didn't have a Femina. Because they have a Femina, they are going to be able to just fuse the Femina and the Ash Blossom here. Let's go. It almost was decent. Arthalion, add back, recycling back Maxi. How fair is that? He's not recycling back the Ash. I don't need Ash, I want the C. Now, we could still recycle back Ash. We could just do it during the opponent's turn. Let's Rahu, Dracotail, Urgula, and Malulu. Gulamel is here. Trigger Malu and Urgula, set the flame, set the horn. Battle phase, not enough for lethal. And then Urgula, add back Femina. And then within the main phase, so we can maxi them in the draw or standby. And then Femina, we need another monster in hand though. So Maxi has to draw into another monster, or the Sting, Flame, or Horn could draw into another monster. Then we could use Femina to add back our Ash Blossom. Mignon, normal, Droll, there's nothing could do. He's super bricked. Damn, the Fiend, what the heck, man? That's so not fair for you, I'm sorry. Damn, I'm sorry, the Fiend. It just do be that way. Game 1, begin. Bro. What? Bricked Ritual, bricked Mirror, brick Purification, 3 bricks in our 5-card hand. That is insane. Naroi from the deck. Max C. We should just brute force. Ooh, we got Raziel, Mitsurugi, Cross is banned, and we don't care. 8,700. Finish him. That is definitely worth noting. Jokel gets 4,000 plus damage on the field, and they only draw 1 card. That's it. Only 1. It's not like a Nibiru summon then summon. All right. We have prayers. Prayers can unbrick us. He could then Ash the prayers, and then we surrender again. Really? Okay, he's holding on to negate the Saji. Negate Saji. Prayers could be a bait. I agree with this. Wait for the Saji. Negate. Then we scoop. Okay. All right. Don't take the bait. We see their hands, so it could seem more obvious to use Ash on something else when you shouldn't. Impulse, Fool Loss, Maxi. Well, Canine's really good at putting 8,000 damage on the field. What do we do? Impulse. We are not Fool Lossing or Maxing. No, no, no. We do not want them to push for lethal damage here. And by not activating a hand trap, ooh, he just looked at his hand. I see everything. By not activating a hand trap, he's not able to special summon Azuna or Lupus. Ripper. Ripper grab Jokel. Jokel's game. That's it. It's over. You have to max see this. He saw your hand. He knows. He saw. Okay. Well, that was fun. Begin. Vanquished Canine should beat Dracotail. That's how it be. And then Yummy's supposed to beat Vanquished Canine, but many believe that they overhit Yummy. So this perfect rock, paper, scissors meta is no longer there. We simply have Vanquished Canine just being the best of the 3 decks. So let's set this up, and let's talk about the first turn kill with Borger. How do you first turn kill Borger? It's kind of a first turn kill. So if we showcase this, where is this? Okay, let's do the calculator. Online calculator. The opponent's at 8,000 life. On your very first turn, you Borger burn for 1,500 instead of draw. Boom, the opponent's at 65. And then they have on field the Umbral Horror. What's Umbral Horror gonna do? If the opponent activates a monster effect in the field, you could half their life points to negate that monster and discard a card. So if you half their life points, what is that? Divided by 2, they're now at 3,250. Then you Borger burn again because it's now the opponent's turn. Then they're at 1,750. Now you flip up the trap. The trap will deal 4, 6, and 800. So let's do that. Minus 400. Minus 600, and minus 800 for game. Is it technically a first turn kill? No, but it is pretty close to what a first turn kill is. It dependent on the opponent activating a monster on the field. So what? Just don't activate a monster on the field and you don't lose? Now, we didn't set that up, but that's something you could do. Let's go. Windows are not exist. You what? Let's draw again. Rahu, Dracotail. We're going to trigger Malulu, non-target negate a monster on the field. Urgula, non-target pop. So now we're in this spot where do we force release early? Or do we Snow Devil early? Or do we use neither? Just let him destroy one of them. Malulu with the non-target negate is going to negate the Rock of the Vanquisher. The Umbral Horror is not so good because you could very easily chainlink block your monster effects on field. The Arthalion, returning it back. Werewolf, the non-target pop is here. Take out the key 2 before it's activatable. And now, if we activate anything, the Werewolf will look at our hand and banish a card until the end phase. So what you possibly want to do is, now if you didn't already activate Rahu, you could set Rahu, then activate Brand Fusion, they look at your hand, then you can follow up with Rahu. Lupus isn't wasting any time. Durendal. Durendal is ready to negate. We're going to summon a Caesar. Caesar's going to non-target pop one of the back row cards before they're activatable. Or not. Waited. So this is where the Werewolf looks at the hand and banishes. Or Durendal just negates. There, I don't care about your hand, I'm going to negate. You have to destroy one of my back row cards, and the Caesar will destroy the other. Because I feel like you were trying to play around the Werewolf, but it's a Rahu that already activated this turn. Wipe it out. And takes out the field spell. Lucius, grabbing Thamina. Thamina, if I look at your hand and banish Nibiru, your Thamina is not able to go into a Dracotail. So we have to fuse Lucius and Arthalion. Goodbye to Nibiru. Impossible to summon a Dracotail, so we instead summon a Secretarion. Lucius trigger, setting up the key 2 that you destroyed earlier, so we have another one. Secretarion reborn back onto the field. Our Arthalion, returning Lucius back in the deck. Urgula, return back the Thamina, so we could use the key 2 to fuse with Thamina. Grab the Pan, or fuse with the Pan instead. Pan, non-target pop, we have Philia. Philia will target a card on the field or in the graveyard and then banish it. Pan, non-target, destroy the Werewolf. Banishing Lupus. Now, you don't have to return your card back if you banish from the graveyard. So very good on the Philius there. A great response from Dracotail, not immediately losing. Now we have Spell Negate, return back a monster, banish a card on the field. We could Thamina fuse. At least Quadra Disruption. He's starting to burn. And when they start burning you, that means they're pissed. Sync is not happy. Jiaolong changed the battle position. What the heck? 1500D. Jokel, special summon for the hand. Valen can flip a monster on the field face down. This could force out the Philia. We're forcing it. Philia is now going to banish the Caesar. Holly Sue is going to take control of one of the monsters here. Yoink the Philia Regis as he's going to return back. So it's interesting here. You have to return back a dragon. That's and then he just flips it right back up. Oh my Jesus! This is you can only use each effect of Philia. So you means Shadow and Sync. Shadow already used it. Sync has not yet used it, and this would have returned back to the hand had we not taken control of it. So now we're going to use Horn to return the Philia back. We're going to Ghost Spell, negate the Horn from returning the Philia back to our own extra deck. Negate. We're going to Flame, negate the Canine, Horn, return back, randomly draw into a non-monster. We needed a Dracotail to use with Femina. Damn. Well done. E2, grab the Lucius. If you hold on a shifter, you now risk them normal summoning a Malulu, which they could chain to the shifter. They could chain Femina to the dimension shifter. You give them a chance to trigger something engraved now by holding on a shifter. Is that the right thing to do when you know that you're playing against Dracotail? As I said, this shouldn't be happening. I should not be chaining my Femina. That's okay. We're going to get a double Fool Loss, draw 2. It's going to be a draw 4. Oh my Jesus. Draw 4 cards. Femina, draw 2. Branded Fusion, draw 4. Let's go. 1, 2. And 3, 4. Well, they're going to start off with 7 cards. Arthalion, return back the Femina. Urgula, set up a card. Lucius, set up a card. We should not be setting up cards here because Dimension Shifter would have completely stopped it. The trade was we wanted higher value on our Fool Loss, but they now have Horn and Flame. Was that worth it? Now, the Sanctifier normally is supposed to reborn an Albaz onto your field. We don't have that play. Instead, it's not going to be so good. We do have Horn, we have Flame, we have Femina. Maxi is not activatable. Has to go to the graveyard as part of the cost, thus no good. Now, Ash says discard to the graveyard. It does not say to the graveyard, actually. It just says discard. So that's why you're able to use it under the effect of Dimension Shifter. Start your Vanquished Soul, add the Snow Devil. Let's target. Let's return back your targeted card so you don't get to search your deck for a Vanquished Soul of a different attribute. Did not Ash. Now, why didn't he Ash? Because he knows Flame would then be chained to the Ash to negate the field spell. And I guess his hope is that, I don't know, he's going to Flame something else, then we Ash that instead, I guess. Okay. Case for Canine, we'll Ash the Flame. Yep. Negate. All right. Now, while Femina is activatable, she does not have to go to the graveyard. You may not want to activate her because you're not going to trigger Urgula, but you may be forced to do so anyway. Lucius is reborning to search our deck for a monster to further fuse with the Femina, but whatever you grab is not going to be going to the graveyard to trigger. Grabbing a Pan or a Malulu would be no good here. Maxi's gone from the game. We can't recycle back a Banish Maxi. Return 2 cards on the field back to the hand. Stake your soul, reveal the Ash. Scoop it up. I'm out. No thank you. Orcust Canine? What the cope is this? No way, it's a real deck. Against Vanquished Soul Canine. Let's do it. Case for Canine, grab the Naroi. Naroi is going to summon from the deck. Ash is going to negate. We are then going to look at your hand, mate. Show me the play, but wow. We ending our turn? Yeah, look at your hand and end. Good job, Orcus, being a brick. Nice. Mad Love, add the Start Your Soul. Let's hit them with the Droll and Lockbird. Didn't want to max C, and then see if they could negate it, then chain Droll if they do negate the max C. We are Rock of the Vanquisher, Holly Sue, come forth, add back the Dark. We can now summon anything we want from the deck. Trigger the Jiao Long summon, further summon from the deck, which we can't search for the Raisin, so we're gonna summon a Borger instead. Ripper will not be able to search to then set the Quick Play K9. Borger is not able to burn, but we could draw starting in their draw phase. Under Droll, you would think you want to prioritize the Start Your Soul set, or the effect to set the trap from the deck. You get Borger going for the draw 1. Max C, preemptively forcing out a potential Ripper. Ripper ain't ripping. Not today. Grab the Azuna. Ripper ready to negate the Lantern. Yep, negate you. Chain Droplet to negating the Lantern. Negate the Ripper. And then Azuna is activatable. So this is the big question here. Is it worth it to summon Azuna and Lupus early? Or do we wait? So let's see. We reborn the Noroi. Now, what could the Lantern search for that you care about? It would be for a case for K9, but you already activate this turn. Now, if you allow them to summon Ripper, Ripper will then negate Azuna. So at minimum, we want to get an Azuna and a Lupus on the field, but then you could possibly wait with the Lupus, or just seeing that they have no cards in the hand, just suck them up. Yep, he's in big trouble. But it's Maxi! Oh my Jesus! He's got a normal summoned Orcust Gursu now. Uh-oh. Draw again. Draw again. 3 draws. To flip down. You didn't even flip him down. He's just searching. Now he's got the Force Release. Now you have to flip him down or he's going to rank 5 Ripper non-target pop you. You gave him draw 3 and you didn't even stop him. What? He could pop 2 cards to the field. This is untargetable, by the way. Can't be targeted by Jax, but the Force Release could non-target pop it. Boost up, send the Harpour. Wow, Oak is going to win this duel. I think so. Down, flip you down. Gursu gets send in as we have Galatea Link 1. Let's discard searching for the World Legacy Crown. Special summon to where Link monster is pointing to. We got Galatea Link 2. Return back a Banished Machine. Set up the Babel to make all of our Orcust cards quick play. Link 1, Galatea reborn back in the field. Further go into a Little Knight, banish. Banishing our own symbol skeleton to then summon it back with World Wand. That's quite insane. We got the Long Gursu, Rock of the Vanquisher negated. What are you trying, mate? As we now Long Gursu pointing to the Borger, send us to the graveyard. Symbol Skeleton reborn from engrave our Galatea. As we turn this into a Dingursu to non-target send a card from the field to the grave. We still have Force Release with Jax, which is going to be all of our damage. And Lil Gursu to take control of a monster. Add the Gursu, return back, yoinking you. We're not using Force Release. Are we summon locked? I think we are. What's the summon lock here? You can, where does it say the summon lock? Banish this. You cannot special summon except dark monsters for the rest of the turn. Is the werewolf not dark? He's not dark, he's light. The double battle damage of the Jax given to the werewolf, dealing double damage and piercing. Oh my Jesus. Okay, but that's okay. We have it for the next turn. Non-target pop. Let's take out the case for K9. If you activate the Lantern to reborn a K9, we'll look at your hand and banish the Lantern. That's it. And will Lantern still summon the monster? No. And we're gonna look early. I'm taking a peek. Say goodbye to the Lantern. Lantern has to summon both monsters on the field. Special summon both. If you can't summon the Lantern, say goodbye to the one in grave. Mad Love searching for the Snow Devil. Valen flip it down before he is able to link off into Rock of the Vanquisher. we train ourselves to activate cards at the last possible moment, but by activating Valen on the resolution of the Mad Love, you open up the possibility that Mad Love could chain to Valen to reveal a dark, or do double reveal to return a monster back to the hand. Because you have to remember with the Canine, not the Canine, but the Vanquish Soul cards, this is a mistake that the YCS champion, 7-time YCS champion, made in the finals, is you have to remember that they can't chain their second effect to their first effect. If they commit to the first effect of Raisin or Mad Love to search their deck, they're locked in. They're not going to be able to destroy the column. They're not going to be able to return a card back. They're not going to be able to reveal for Jiao Long. So that's when you want to respond to them, if you can, on their effect to search. And then Jiao Long wouldn't even be a possibility to summon, nor would the ability to return a monster back. All right, let's go. Let's go. We'll lost in our own draw phase. He is playing K9. I guess we want to ensure that we draw one from the Azuna if we're already going to activate something from the hand. Ash, negate the start mate. Call to the grave, finger the Ash. So let's talk about proper Ash usage. Should you Ash a Mad Love? You possibly should. Now, the problem is they could already have a start Vanquish Soul field spell in the hand, and then you get punished by that, but it is a one of, and then by ashing the Mad Love, you do stop the second effect. So there was a risk by not ashing the Mad Love, because now if they can get another Vanquish Soul on the field, they get the second effect. But if they can't get a second Vanquish Soul on the field and you ash the start instead, that ends up being safer in its own regard. So I would say both are, in a way, are correct. There comes a risk with both. But, you know, we are able to finger the Fool, Holly Sue. Imagine if Holly Sue was already in the hand. They are now able to set the trap from the deck because you ash the effect to search, and they had either a Jiao Long or a Holly Sue. Now, Jiao Long with Mad Love is not going to be so good here because you have to reduce the attack of an opposing monster to trigger the Jiao Long, so you're normally not going to be able to do that. You got to be playing Imperm. But Dracotail Imperm's not good in that deck. Vanquish Soul Canine Imperm's also not good in that deck. So you have the top decks where Imperm is not good, but Imperm is more necessary now than ever to stop the free advantage that Ripper gets off of you activating a hand trap. Canine searching for Azuna. We could non-target pop, negate a card in the hand. We could also banish from the hand. We could negate your monster, discard a card from the hand. We could also ash. Oh boy. We can Holly Sue, summon a Raisin from the deck. We could return your monster back. We have like 7 disruption. Is way too good. Damn. And he randomly hit talents. Random. You don't look at the hand here. Randomly discard the board break. So stupid. What am I drinking? I'm banging. The Roy, summon from the deck. Max C, finger the C. And now that your C is negated, I can activate my Azuna. Azuna can special summon, send a Lupus from the deck, but you don't want to do that yet because what have we not done ourselves? We have not activated a hand trap or a card in grave. We don't want the opponent's Azuna to be turned on. So we have to make a Ripper first. Let's Jokel search. Now it's safe. Ripper is pinning down Azuna. And now that she's pinned down, we could safely activate Jokel, safely activate Azuna. You gotta sequence your plays correctly here, not get blown out by anything random. Activate Azuna. Now, why are we not negating? Because we want to negate the Lupus that you're sending to the grave, so when it activates Reborn, that's what we will negate. But then you send a Force Release instead because the Lupus is already in hand, thus we just negate the Lupus in hand. Negate. Now from here, we have our own Lupus, Rebornable. All this is because of the Maxi that got fingered. This is, I would say, the most toxic part about the Canine engine. It's not that they're turn 0. It's that it makes you feel, they make you feel bad for activating a hand trap. They make you feel like you made a mistake, but you didn't. But it still feels bad. So it just feels bad. It's just bad. What the heck? Why am I punished for using Maxx C? Why am I punished for Full Lossing? Why am I punished for using Ash? What the shite is this? I don't think people are complaining about Holly Sue. They're complaining about Ripper and Azuna. That's the problem. Let's keep on going. But boost up. Orchist, Harpour, some for the deck. Gersu, send World Wand. World Wand. We're going to use the Skeleton, Reborn back. Galatea, return back the banished card, set up the Crescendo. And Lil Gersu. We're going to return back a banished card, then return it back to the deck. Take control of your Azuna. Thank you very much. We have the Simple Skeleton, Reborn back the Galatea. Ding Gersu is here. Attach a banished card. Link off the Gersu into a Lung Gersu. And let's go. So the Long Gersu pointing to the extra monster zone if you were to link summon. So you want to summon it to where the end Lil Gersu is pointing to. I think it's only when this is pointing to something. You are able to a linked monster. So anywhere you're linked. If you're linked with the end Lil, I will send you to the graveyard. So we have that disruption. We could take... We don't have Masquerade to put into the graveyard. We could flip you face down. We're going to be able to negate anything. We don't have the ability to force release unless you activate something in the hand. Then we are able to... We don't have the Ripper play to go into. Let's see what happens here, because there are a lot of different things that can mess them up. Bulos is turning on a Lupus, which the Lupus is currently making the Valen untargetable. We're going to Droll on the Resolution, the case for K9 adding. Quick effect Simple Skeleton, Reborn Ding Gersu to banish the Lupus. Lupus is not going to the grave. Say goodbye. We got super clapped. We lost when they were able to finger our Maxx C. Because then Maxx C enabled the Force Release set, which is a double disruption. The Azuna gave us even more power on top of our fields. It just blew everything out. Disgusting. All right, let's go. And I think that's 2 duels in a row. Called by the Grave, winning the game. Prayers, chain the Maxx C. Let's speed up the... Grab the Saji. We are not special summoning the Saji, we'll just normal summon it as the Habakiri grabs the Mitsurugi Ritual. Let's now Ritual summon. Just do it once. Mirakumo is here. Trigger the Saji and the Aramasa. I'm gonna grab a Kusanagi, which we can normal summon. Purification, thanks to the effect of the Saji. Add back the prayers, double set, pass. Versal pre-prep. Oh, do we mirror? Do we mirror? One more summon. We're under Maxx C. We're doing it. Let's go. Habakiri, we're gonna grab a Magatama with this, right? Magatama. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we can negate anything. We could board wipe the fields. We could force them to discard. We could also pop a card in the field. About 4 forms of disruption. What the heck are you doing, hipster? Add a Shining Sark monster from your deck to your hand. You what? How about you discard a card if you want to do that? Now, when you have triple tactics talent, while this does play around Droll, you do want to possibly consider, I mean, it's okay. You have another card anyway, where if they were to respond with the monster effect, you then get to use your triple tactics talent. So hopefully that's not gonna be the case where this will just not be activatable. We should be able to use this in some way. Marshmallow, come forth and summon. Magatama is gonna tribute off the Kusanagi. Kusanagi will trigger, and then we can triple tactics talent. Let's freaking go. Add back the Ritual. And we are gonna go for the yoink. Take control of nothing. Negate. Now, after all of that disruption's been used, what are we left with? We have a board wipe. Board wipe is our final play. So Hipster has to bait a board wipe. Do we bait it by going into the Dark Magician of Destruction? Because if we summon a Dragoon, We could possibly try to negate the Murakumo, but can you? That's the question. Well, if I activate Prayers, tribute off Murakumo, and I use the effect to reborn the Murakumo itself, then can the mirror already returned itself back in the deck? So we already chain link blocks the Murakumo here. Oh boy, we can't use Murakumo itself to reborn out, so it's going to be more difficult to chain link block this effect. How do we chain link block it? With just a Prayers. We're going to use it right now. We're just going to... Maxi Doug! You can't scoop at the sight of a Dark Magician girl. Are you freaking kidding me? What the... You did. That was too much. He surrendered. What? What the heck? Okay. Yep. I mean, we already Murakumo'd wiped away their field, right? Didn't we do that already? No, we Magatama popped. We didn't Murakumo board wipe yet. What the hell? What the hell? Ogdoadic? We recently have an Ogdoadic guide on the site. I can't freaking believe it. Ogdoadic, Introduction to Ogdoadic Guide, Irvin Ryan 1, which apparently this mad lad has been topping tournaments with Ogdoadic. He's not just writing a guide. What the heck? He's rating duelist, top 8 duelist. Oh my Jesus, Master 1 every single month with Ogdoadic. He is the mad lad to be listening to about how you get Ogdoadicin. Let's see if Maxi Doug has learned from the guide. Key Urs is here. We're going to negate the Key Urs, which is trying to special summon a monster from the grave. I don't think so. Negate. Can't thrust. You didn't activate a monster effect. Uh-oh. Ogdoa Brick. Shining Sark. Adding the Gandora G. Gandora G is going to destroy the entire field, then summon the Dark Magician Girl from the deck. Dark Magician Girl from the deck is going to go into the Goon. She lifts her hat. I didn't freaking know. Dark Magician of Destruction. Search our deck for a Magician Soul. Magician Soul, sending a Dark Magician Girl to come forth and summon. Send the Shining Sark to draw a card. As we Gravity Controller, it's a bridge for Yummy. Yummy can't bridge into it, but it bridges into Yummy. A one-way bridge. Let's go. Send it, summon, search. Baron to floor also. Wow. Bridges into Yummy and gives you a Baron to floor. That's spicy. Okay. Reborn the Cupsy. Look at that, boosted fields. Oh my, it's a hipster stop. He's already dead. Lethal damage. Yummy Goon is here, and it is top tier in hipster's hands. I gotta pick Yummy back up again. Damn. I was going into the release of Dark Magician of Destruction thinking that Diablo Star would be the most used card to summon this. But it's turning out to be the Dark Magician Girl with Shining Sark is much more prevalent. That's crazy. Now, is it because everyone playing this are just gooners, or is it actually the best way to play it? Thank you, YouTube, for watching the top 16 as we'll be advancing into the top 8 grand finale where we are back at it again. Triple D at the bottom. Book of Eclipse ready to flip their whole field face down. Let's go.